So yes, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dawn Lehman. I'm a faculty member at the University of Washington. And I've been the chair of the institutional board, I think going on 2 years in January. For those of you who don't know, the institutional board is made up of each of the core institutions. So your department, if you're part of peer, has selected a member to represent peer for your institution and your institution for peer. So this slide is just showing all of the current members of the institutional board. And we have a number of different roles. So one of the roles obviously is to represent, like I said. The other, and I also should add that there's also one representative for the educational affiliates. So there are also educational affiliate institutions. But the most important thing is what we do. So we meet twice a year, and this just gives an overview of the roles and responsibilities of the IB. Does somebody want to ask me a question? Okay, I will keep going. So one of the big things that we did this year is we revised the bylaws for peer overall for the center, including the institutional board, because the institutional board has really changed since peer started, and we really wanted to modernize the bylaws and make sure that we were meeting the peer objectives. So one of the goals of the board, obviously, is to establish the operation, the management, and the administration of the center. So especially the executive committee and the chair of the institutional boards works very closely with peer headquarters, I will call them, because that's how we call them. Also, we approve any changes to the roster. So that would be educational affiliates as well as core institutional members and transitional members. So some of you might know that we're very happy to say that the University of Nevada, Reno is now a core institutional member. They were a transitional member. So all of this is outlined in the bylaws. We also review the general research directions. So we meet with headquarters at least once a year, usually more, like twice a year. And we also review the financial and the administrative directions. The other thing that we do is discuss key personnel. The key personnel are really up to headquarters, of course, because they're running the center, but we give input on those and improve the terms and the appointments of those. The other thing you might know is that this is obviously before I came on board, but we were very involved in the selection and review of the director of the center. And the other thing that we have done very recently is we've had the center reviewed by UC Berkeley. This was something that we did not because we thought peer wasn't doing a good job, but we really thought that it would be beneficial to everyone to have this review sometime to reflect. It unfortunately occurred during a pandemic, but we had a great group of both practicing engineers and academic engineers that are within the peer core members. They're outside of peer, but have run centers before, as well as folks that are involved in industry who you'll hear later from Jim Malley are very interested in collaborating, coordinating, and understanding what peer does. So that was something else that we've done. The thing to me that's the most important thing that we need to do that I don't think we've been doing as well as we can is really to ensure that peer is operating as a consortium of universities. So that is that each of us who are within the core institutional members are going back to our faculty and telling them what is happening in these board meetings. So if that is not happening for you, please reach out to your institutional board member. If that doesn't help, please reach out to me, because the most important thing about peer is that it is a center. It is not an organization that is just giving out research funding, although it does do that. The idea of peer really is to operate as a center so that we can collaborate and improve our research efforts, and then disseminate those research efforts to folks that in industry that are going to be using them. And so for me, this is something that I would like to see us continue to work on. And I think that really starts with the role of the institutional members. The other thing that we've changed very recently is that we are trying to have our institutional board members sit on the board for 6 years and no more than 6 years, so that we have a little bit more turnover. We want to see diversity in terms of representation of earthquake engineers in general, but also expertise, so that we are not all structural engineers or we're not all geotechnical engineers. So that is something else that we are working on. So that's just a very brief overview of the institutional board